welcome back to another edition of Build Your Legacy Insurance Podcast. We're adopting new technology, right? We're practicing what we preach in some of these previous episodes, trying some different things as we move into the new year to bring these episodes to you. And today we've got a great one. We've got a partner of ours, Mr. Chris Fishel with Covenant Insurance. Chris is a member and has been a member for the last several years with SIA in North Carolina. Great guy, and wanted to get him on here. He and I ate lunch together back before the Christmas season and had some really great stuff to say. Well, without further ado, Chris, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
No, I really appreciate you taking the time. We ate lunch a few weeks ago, and we're chatting about sort of your experience in the insurance world in general and as an agency owner. And you had some great stuff and some great stories to tell. So I wanted to bring you on here and kind of dive into that with you, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to chat. Let's dive in.
Yeah. So first and foremost, how did you find your way to being an insurance agent?
Yeah, definitely not something I ever anticipated. I don't think many people grow up dreaming of being an insurance agent. But it was definitely something I just kind of stumbled into. Actually, early on, I was more of a hoodlum. I was in a band, just trying to make my way, make money playing music. Quickly found out that that was not going to work, especially if I want to marry my future wife. So I had to get a
Yeah.
big boy job. Um, and so with that, my first real job was actually working in the car industry. I was
Okay.
a sales manager for Honda, and I absolutely loved the sales environment. I
Yeah.
liked taking the client from just researching to finalizing the sale.
Hmm.
I really cut my teeth and got some sales knowledge in the car industry. I was with Flow
Okay.
for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
But car business hours are long. And
Yeah.
so when I started in the car business, I wasn't married, I didn't have kids. To the end of my tenure there, I had two children and I was married. So it wasn't conducive for raising a family in.
Yeah.
I would be leaving before they woke up and home after they went to bed. So I never got
Yeah.
to see. And so I had a couple buddies transition to insurance, and that's kind of how I got interested in it.
Having kids, getting married, those priorities change a little bit, right? That definitely is a change for all of us. So you said you had some friends transition over, and that's what got you interested in the insurance world. How'd you find your way in? Where'd you originally start?
My friends that had transitioned went to a captive company.
Okay.
And essentially, what they told me is like, look, with how you did it, Flow, if you can carry over those same qualities in terms of customer service and follow
Hmm.
up, it should work really well for you in insurance. So I ended up getting on with this captive company. It was a great experience. They gave me great
Yeah.
training. I had a wonderful manager. And so I had been there about 2.5 years. And
Right.
then I had been kind of networking and talking with independents and people that had gone off on their own. And it kind of got my gears turning of maybe getting away from the captive space.
Okay. So in that captive world, you were primarily focused on personal lines insurance.
Yes, personal lines and life insurance were our two big niches.
Okay, so I'm sure in those conversations with those other independents, one, the options were attractive, but then the commercial side as well was something that probably piqued your interest.
Yeah, my only frustration with the captive space was the fact that there were a lot of times I had clients that I just couldn't help because they didn't
Right.
qualify. So I had to send them elsewhere. And commercial insurance always interested me, and they just didn't have a
Hmm.
big appetite for that. So,
Right.
for the sake of becoming a better, more knowledgeable agent, I felt like I had to go independent to kind of grow.
To keep matriculating in your career. That
Yeah.
makes sense. So that kind of piqued your interest in the independent space. What really piqued your interest in ownership?
So I'd been with the company going on almost 3 years, and I was just
Okay.
thinking, I think this is something I want to do long term. I'm getting comfortable here. I'm really getting knowledgeable,
Yeah.
but I want to own what I'm writing. Everything I was writing, yeah, I got renewals on, but at the end of the day, it belonged to that company. And I was
Right.
just thinking, in terms of building something that I can pass on
Yeah.
or even having control. I got enough micromanaging in the car business to kind of know that I'm self motivated. I'm going to do things the right way without having someone over my shoulder. So I would much rather be able to dictate how my day goes, what am I going after, how am I going after it, and when.
Okay.
So control was a big reason why I decided ultimately to go on my own.
Okay. We hear that a lot from people who are exploring the ownership, leaving captivity, or even leaving an independent role as a producer that control, that ownership. And I mean, you mentioned two kids earlier in the episode. I know you have four now. That legacy piece, that ability to pass that on is always a huge driving factor in the decision to transition to ownership.
Yeah, I've always thought it'd be really neat if down the road I could pass this on to at least one of my sons, if not get them all involved.
Yeah.
We were talking before that my oldest actually joked, he's like, Dad, I would never want to do insurance. I want to be outside working with my hands. So who knows? I still got some years to try and coerce them to join in with their old man.
Well, I think they're a great example, and you hit the nail on the head as well as a previous partner that was on the episode. I don't know if people are born to be insurance agents, right? But they find their way there in time.
Yeah.
So the ownership piece attracted you. How did you start exploring that transition to ownership? What was sort of your process?
Yeah, so there were a lot of unknowns for me. I had no clue how to actually start an LLC or even get my feet wet. But funny enough, you and I had been connected about a year prior to me leaving. I don't know if you
Hmm.
remember Tracy Williamson, but
Yeah, oh, yeah.
local health insurance agent that she's like, hey, just talk to this guy if you're interested, pick his brain. So a lot of it was just my initial conversations with you, but then also kind of doing some research online about, okay, how do I get contracted? How do I start my business?
So as you went through your exploration process, I know we got involved together early and we had a lot of conversations. But as you started that process, what really attracted you to SIA North Carolina?
Well, to be honest, at first it didn't. Like, I remember our first meeting, I kind of blew you off. Not like I was rude, but I was like, yeah, I just don't know. If I do go independent, I don't think I'm gonna get you involved. Because I feel like there's a lot of like worry that there's a catch, right? Almost like
Right.
what SIA was offering was too good to be true. So that led me to do some research on like insurance aggregators and partner sharing. And I had kind of looked up a few different companies and tried to figure out the pros and cons of each.
Hmm.
And one of the main things that sold me on SIA is I had found a YouTube video of a lady in another state, and I think it's even like a different part of SIA, but her agency was over 10 years old and they continued that partnership. So
Right.
it wasn't just for the young guy getting started up like I was. Even these tenured agencies that didn't technically need you guys, they saw the value in what you brought. So that kind of gave me peace of mind like, okay, this isn't just a gimmick for new guys that have no other option. This is actually something that works for established agencies. I was worried that there might be a catch and that I didn't have leverage being a new guy, but kind of getting these agent experiences gave me peace of mind.
When did you officially start your agency? When did you officially get started?
April of 2023.
Okay, so April of 2023, we're now in 2026, going on that third anniversary. How's the relationship been so far for you? Has it delivered on everything you expected it to?
100%. Looking back now, I don't think it would have worked without you guys because, I did consider just trying it on my own. And I now know that that would have been a big mistake.
Hmm.
About 2 months after I left and started my agency, that's when the carriers really started getting strict. They were stopping
Yeah.
appointments, they were restricting roof age. So one of the best things you guys did for me, my first direct carrier was with Travelers, and that was just great for me because they were very competitive with my previous carrier. So the people that wanted to stay with me, I was able to have a product to bring them over. So yes, I don't think I would have had nearly the amount of appointments starting out, the support. Like I just appreciate you, Travis, being available for a text or a call of like, "Hey, Travis, I've never done this before. What
Yeah.
do you think I should do here?" So that was huge.
As you sit here today, coming up on that third anniversary, I know you had those big dreams of where you wanted to go. What's the future of your agency look like? What are some of the goals you have?
Well, I know when I initially started out and I was talking to you, my goal was just to stay a single man show. I was like, look, I'm not trying to be huge. I just want to write my business and then have time for my family. Funny how goals change. So within a year of me joining up with you guys, I actually had an old time friend who was completely burnt out in the corporate world. And he's like, look, man, I just got to get out. And
Yeah.
I joked with him that, look, I can't payroll. I'm not even paying myself right now. But if you want to come on, I'll see what I can do. And so I brought on my first producer within the first year,
Yeah.
and he's really been growing, and it's exciting to see. So, as much as I initially fought it, I think I will continue to grow and scale my agency up and hire more producers.
Well, man, I love hearing those stories, right? And I would say in 10 years of doing this personally, it's such a theme. We talk with agents, we help them get started, and they kind of get to where they expected to be or wanted to be. And like you, they kind of go, okay, hey, there's more to this. There's more I can do. And it's a great thing to watch and be a small part of, right? Because you are the one who dictates your own success for sure. But we love being a small part of it to help and be there with you in sort of the foxhole as you build. So you've been successful. You've matriculated, you've grown in your career. I really appreciate you taking the time. If there's anything you'd like to add before we get out of here, please, floor is yours.
Yeah, to kind of circle back to the value that SIA brings,
Yeah.
there was a lot I didn't know. I was very comfortable selling life and P&C, but I had no clue what to do on the commercial side, right? I had
Yeah.
no clue how to get carrier appointments. So it was just nice having you guys to walk with me in that process of putting me in the best place to succeed. You guys have the BIA training, which was great because, again, I knew
Yeah.
nothing. I think that's some of the value that people don't necessarily see. They might just be looking, how can it profit me? Like money.
Right.
For me, it was the knowledge, the expertise that I could tap into through you guys, especially being a
Yeah.
new guy.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, and I think it's everybody. You don't know what you don't know, right? And being able to have someone there to help you navigate that is a big thing of what we do. So I will ask you one last question. If you were talking to somebody today that is looking to start their own agency, that's looking and exploring aggregators, what would you tell them?
I would say the same advice I would give myself 2.5 years ago. Just do it. Like I had my reservations, right? I was worried that
Right.
I might be missing something. Again, I can't imagine doing this without you guys. It's been
Yeah.
huge growth over the past 2.5 years. I would welcome anyone interested. Give me a call or a text. I'm happy to share more of my experience or even recommend talking to the other SIA agents. I'm sure they'll all say the same thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice. Just do it, right?
Just jump in.
The old Nike slogan. So
Look, I quit my
I,
job when I had 4 kids and a mortgage. Like, you can make it work, okay?
I love it. I love it, man. Well, look, Chris, again, I genuinely appreciate you taking the time, buddy. Always great to chat with you and hear these types of stories and, continue to look forward to our partnership together and watching you grow.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, guys, I will wrap up this episode. We appreciate you taking the time as always. If you got any recommendations on topics or questions you'd like us to answer, or, if you'd like to get in touch with someone like Chris to chat about their experiences, by all means, reach out to us. So until next week, we'll see you later.
Later.
Thanks for tuning in. You can catch our Build Your Legacy Insurance Edition podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or send us over a topic recommendation at podcast@siaofnc.com. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, visit us online at www.siaofnc.com. We hope you enjoyed our newest episode. See you next week.